have to key in the password.
Do what?
I didn't have to key in a password.
Oh, I'll have to fix that. All right, welcome to the Be the Spark meeting. And we're talking about self-love today. And hopefully people will hop on. If not, we will just have a conversation here about self-love. So self-love is one of the things that I teach in my youth program. It's week 5 that we teach about self-love. Um, so, hey, Neil.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
You have your puppy dog near you as usual?
I do. Talk about self-love. He is
Yep.
selfless love, right? Jack, Jack. All right. Jimmy is coming on. Let's let Jimmy come on and then we will start our meditation. Let me change my view up here. Hopefully he can connect. And if you are on Facebook watching this, please feel free to leave a comment or share this live video so we can get Be the Spark movement out into the world. And also, if you go to bethesparkmovement.com, at the top, you'll see this big banner that says Hurricane Helene fundraiser. And that is t-shirt sales and sticker sales. And we are doing that to raise money to create journals. Well, the journals have been created, but to print journals for the youth of Western North Carolina. We talk about in those journals, we talk about fear, sadness, anxiety, joy, gratitude, and just a way to help. Well, we're going to start with 5th graders, help these kids to process what has happened here in Western North Carolina with Hurricane Helene. So if you want to give to that, please go to bethesparkmovement.com, click on the Hurricane Helene fundraiser, and yeah, just donate what little you want to, or buy a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or a sticker, and help us get these journals out to the youth of Western North Carolina. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Jimmy. Hopefully Jimmy can connect. It's always nice to see Jimmy's face.
Yep. Always is.
From across the world.
Yep. Yep. It works out well though.
There he is, kind of. So Jimmy, I'm going to go ahead and get started. You pop on if your network will allow you. And I really wanted to start today with a meditation on self-love. So if everybody will join us, even if you're on Facebook, you can, if you're not driving or whatever you're doing, just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. And I'm going to lead us in a meditation. So roll your shoulders up to your ears and back down and sit really tall so you can breathe deeply. Closing your eyes. And just settle into wherever you are. And as you breathe in, I am the light. And breathe out any doubts. Breathe in, I am amazing. And breathe out any negativity. Breathe in nourishment. Breathe out old, stale thoughts. Breathe in encouragement. Breathe out comparison. Breathe in celebration. Breathe out old relationships that no longer fill you. Breathe in your unique self. Breathe out as you release your comfort zone. Breathe in patience. Breathe out chaos. Breathe in your passions. Breathe out self-criticism. Breathe in self-love. And breathe out anything that blocks that love. And take one more deep breath all the way to your hip bones. And let it go. All right. Hope everybody feels a little grounded, a little more centered as we begin this conversation on self-love. All right. So Neil, what does self-love mean to you?
Um, I think it means accepting who you are and, being happy with yourself. Where you're not negative about everything you do or say or that kind of thing. So I think you love yourself, you cherish your body, you cherish the things you do. You're never perfect, but I think self-love is, like I said, it's understanding who you are and at the same time continue to grow, increase your self-love. But just to be happy in your core. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I think that that's a good solid foundation. I'm just going back to some of my notes. A good solid foundation about self-love. And self-love is so many things, right? So it's how we treat our bodies physically. It's how we nourish our bodies, how we move, and it's believing in who we are and what we're meant to do here on this earth too. And it's hard. Self-love's really hard because we are our own worst critics.
Yep.
So it's hard to teach self-love too, but we also have to build each other up, right? We have to keep encouraging each other. In this environment, that's the United States currently. So often we shame others and guilt others instead of lifting them up. And that's one thing that I want Be the Spark to always remind people is that, you have your opinions, you have your way of being in the world, you have your experiences, and nobody's truly right or wrong in their experiences.
Very true.
Yeah. And that's all part of self-love, being strong in where you stand in everything. I wish more people would join us, or maybe hopefully they'll comment because, I really could talk about this all day, but everybody's personal experiences are very, they add to the conversation so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I think part of self-love too is self-forgiveness. I think you have to, if you've got things in your head or things in your life that has happened that you blame yourself for, then it's hard to love yourself. And there's always that doubt there. I think it's tough. It's like you said, that, we're our worst critic, when we criticize ourselves verbally and emotionally and really 24/7. Anywhere from, how we act, how we treat people, how we look, what we eat, all that stuff. It's and the way society is with everybody looking perfect and all that kind of stuff. I think I'd say easy, but it's easy to not love yourself like you should, just because we're all put in certain I guess idea in our head about how we should be, how we should look, how we should act, and that's just not who we are. God made us all different, And, I think self-love is a lot part of self-awareness and, being happy with who you are.
Hmm.
And I think that if you don't have self-love, you can't love others. Well, I think you can, but you really can't because you don't really understand what it is. So, but just rambling on.
No, no, it's very true. It's
So,
very true. So going back to what you said about forgiveness, is there's a level of guilt sometimes if we have messed up in our life or hurt other people. And, I know this is my soapbox, right? Fear, shame, and guilt are those three really low vibrational emotions. And if we don't work through those things, then we can't love. It's hard to reach up into the higher vibrations of emotions. And so one of the hardest things I've ever done is forgive myself,
yeah.
because you got to take full responsibility, right?
Mhm. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I think another big part of it is that we allow other people to help us define who we are, how they treat us, how they treat us versus how they do treat us. And I think that brings in doubt. And I think self-doubt is the killer of self-love. So I think that we really should focus on, not really giving a shit what people think about you, to be honest with you. You are who you are. They can take it or they can leave it.
Yeah.
Um, but if you hang on your happiness and ultimately your self-love on how other people interact with you or treat you or talk about you or don't talk about you, then you're never going to be happy ever because you're not controlling it. So that's something that I think we all should work on. Just I'm not saying you don't care what people think about you. That's fine, but you can't let that define who you think you are.
And,
So
and Neil's soapboxes, I tell Carrie this all the time.
no, I'm not talking about anybody specific. I'm just talking.
It is true though. It's hard. It's hard when people have a perception of you, and sometimes their perception of you is not truly who you are. Most of the time it's not truly who you are. It's their perception. And they like to throw that off on you. And it does make it hard. It makes you question yourself, right? And I think a
Well,
lot of what has been I realized the other day, and maybe this is whoever's watching this, is that a lot of people have a perception of me. I'll just make it personal. And they think just because I do XYZ that I am in part of this club or whatever. And when I do something outside of their box, it makes them question their box because they perceive me in some way, because that they perceive me being like them. And in a lot of ways I am. But when I step outside of the box, it makes them question how they've labeled the box. Does that make sense?
I think it's the same way they want to make you fit their box. I
Right.
mean, they may question your box some, but I think their initial reaction is anger because you're not what they expect.
Right.
So, and I think that screw them, you know. So, just my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard. But I have to step back and remember it's their perception,
Hmm.
and it doesn't make me better or worse, or it it still is. I am who I am, and I love myself for who I am. I love my heart, I love my passion, I love my sense of um humanity, and I hope everybody else does too, whether their anger is directed at anybody else or not. Um yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Well, you know, if you expect others to treat you like you treat them, and to see the love and see the happiness that you're able to move through your soul, and yeah, a lot of people just don't want that. So, which makes it tough. It's unfortunate when you see people that, you can look at them and tell they don't have self-love. They're not happy with themselves, not happy with the people around them. They're just not happy people. They're just going through life. There's something.
Yeah.
And people have big hearts and big souls. They try to help those people. And maybe sometimes it helps, but I think the majority of the times it doesn't, because it's maybe it's too difficult for the people to love themselves. But I don't think you can talk somebody into self-love. They have to
Right.
want to do it. They have to want to feel it. So
But
tough.
I think conversations like this can help them,
Oh yeah.
help them question if they do love themselves and what that means to them.
Well, if there's things in their heart that has them less self-love than they should have, they hopefully they can see that if you work on that, that helps everything. It helps your ability to know what love is, help your ability to love other people. Um, from a personal standpoint, me talking to my dad years ago, um, just going through stuff, and a lot of it was he had things kind of pent up. I had things pent up, and through our mutual self love, our relationship is so much better now. And it's magical. So it's really really pretty cool.
It is.
So
That that makes me smile.
it's good because
Yeah,
you help
a little bit.
just a little
A
bit.
little
Yeah,
bit. I
right.
can only do so much though. You gotta, like everybody else, you gotta do the
Hmm.
work yourself. And if you're not willing to look inside yourself and question yourself about what makes you angry, what makes you upset, what builds walls around your relationships with other people, then nothing's ever going to change. So we got to question everything. Question everything. That's my that's my stance in life. I'm going to question everything, and you know,
And admit there are certain things you'll never understand.
no, no, I'm. That's another thing you tell me all the time, right? Like, you're never going to figure it out. That's a whole realm of thought that
Yeah.
luckily I'm not privy to.
I guess I shouldn't say you'll never figure it out. I think you'll just never understand why certain people are certain ways.
Yeah,
So just because in your heart and soul you're not that way. So why can't everybody be happy? And then it just doesn't happen that way, unfortunately.
yeah.
So
Well, and I do try to have grace, and I think that's another thing that is part of self-love and part of sharing that and letting it ripple out to other people is giving people grace because we do not know what they've been through, and
mhm,
we do not know what their foundation of fear and shame and guilt or abuse, et cetera, is. And we all are formed based on those foundations that we've been steeped in.
yeah,
And it's hard to see past, it's like if I see these low vibrational emotions as like these walls. And if you're standing down here in guilt, you can't see up to joy. If you're
yeah,
standing down here in fear, you can't see up to love and actualization. Um, so we got to be willing to start breaking down those walls and or climbing the wall.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe more than one wall.
Yeah. Well, and
Might
there,
be a shorter one and a taller one.
yeah. Well, and there's also walls around yourself and walls around relationships, maybe family or friends that, there's all kinds of walls that we gotta break down in this world.
Yeah,
But it all starts
very
right here.
true.
It all starts with loving ourselves and trying to understand ourselves and, you know, uh embodying the goofiness that is us, embodying the mistakes that is us, and embodying the messy, crazy, quirky beauty and passion that is each of us. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Well, the one thing written here, it says self-love requires patience and courage. Yeah, I kind of like that. Hey, I wrote that. But
Hey,
it's
man, too late.
true. I believe it's true because,
Yeah.
it is courageous to tell somebody that, you know, that's your perception of me, and
Mhm.
that's on you. That my perception of me is a whole different ball game. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm grateful for who I am and grateful for the work I do in the world, regardless of what it is,
Yeah.
and sharing that love with other people. So, yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. I had this visualization and I wrote it down. I think we all start out as a ball of clay, right? This moldable ball of clay. And we're round, like shaped like a sphere. And within that sphere is our self love and our self worth and our purpose and everything we're meant to be. But as we go through life and we allow other people's perceptions or negativity or abuse or whatever it is that we come across in our life, and that sphere gets chipped away piece by piece, piece by piece. And we no longer can roll through the world in our beautiful circular being, right? Our wholeness. So if we can not allow people to chip away at that sphere, that ball of clay, or if we can even go back and pick up some of those pieces and reshape our lives to where we are moving solidly in our entire being, then that's our goal.
Deep. That's cool.
So keep your ball of clay, keep it whole. Don't let people chop it off. Don't let people mold you into who they think you should be or they think you are. And you just keep your whole self moving beautifully through the world.
Yep.
Well,
Very cool.
is there anything else you want to add, Neil?
I don't think so. I could ramble some more, but it probably, continue to go off, self love like I think I've done already. It is what it is. No, I'm
Well, I
good.
think I think self-love is a massive topic and it embodies
Mm,
it embodies so much, and it is a lot of hard work. Let's see if Jimmy can
Yeah,
get on now real quick. Um, and we just got to
yeah,
be
we'll go
willing
ahead.
to do that work
And then, yeah, it's not like, hey, I'll go do it and it's done. It's a process.
continually, continually. It's everything.
Yeah,
It's like I was telling the kids I was working with on Thursday, like you can't lift weights one time and be like, all right, I've accomplished something. When you do accomplish something, but
hmm,
it's not the end goal, right? It's a practice. And
yeah,
self-love is a practice,
yeah.
like breathing. Jimmy, are you
Yeah.
there? He is still having trouble. All right, we're gonna put a request out that Jimmy get a what's that thing Elon has?
Starlink.
Starlink. Jimmy needs a Starlink.
Yeah.
But that might be expensive.
I know
Well
that's why
worth it.
we're asking for donations for Jimmy to get a Starlink so we can have better conversations with Jimmy and all his wisdom.
Okay, nice to have you guys today. I've been having trouble. At first, I was seeing you, but I couldn't hear from you.
Uh-huh.
Then I had to restart to rejoin the meeting. But gladly, I'm able to hear you guys.
We're glad you're here. So Jimmy, we've had a pretty deep conversation
Sure.
about self-love, but we would love to know how you define self-love and what you think self-love is.
Self-love, for me, it means prioritizing yourself. To some people, it might sound selfish, but to me, it's a foundation of love. Self-love is a foundation of love because we emit what we process within us. There is no way you are going to love your neighbor. There is no way you are going to spread the kindness which we talk about, which the world yearns for. When you yourself, you're not kind to yourself, when
So
you don't, you love yourself better. So to some people, when they hear about the term self-love, they think of someone being selfish, self-centered. But for me, it's a foundation at the beginning of you taking that journey of spreading love. You first love yourself. When you love yourself better, when you maneuver those boundaries, those fears, everything that is happening in life, in the daily lives, you'll succeed on loving others, spreading the same energy to others. That's what self-love means to me.
I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah.
Maybe the part to note out of my definition would be the foundation. So to anyone outside there, self-love is the foundation of love. It's not being selfish to others, but it's a foundation. So when you see someone trying to get onto that journey of self-love, we must give them time to discover themselves, to love themselves better. With time, these people will be able to transmit the same energy to us. It's just a matter of time. When you go outside there without loving yourself better.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. It's that foundation, like everything else, right? Like we have to start with that foundation of love. And if we don't love ourselves, then how can we love somebody else? And how can we teach somebody else to
Either
love us
you
the way
end
we
up,
need to be loved?
that's why you'll see cases like, people locking themselves in, mental health will rise. Yes, teaching. Are you hearing me?
Yep.
I'm having unstable connection is here.
Yes.
I think it goes back to prioritizing yourself, being mindful about what you what you absorb. Okay, that's the right word to use. Being mindful about what you absorb and what you let out. I think that's the foundation for me on the journey of self-love. You first look at what you are absorbing from the outside world and what you are putting outside there. So what you exhale and what you inhale, something like that. That will be the first step to.
I like that visualization,
Mhm.
you know. We inhale whatever is out there in the world and we transmute it inside and we exhale love. Is that what you're saying?
And when you things, but for me, for starters, and what you, it's like the first step to take later on, but you have to first be mindful about what you are absorbing. That is
You're
it.
right. You're
Yeah.
right. And I think that that's one way of realizing what no longer serves you. We hear that a lot, right? But there's so much truth to like rejecting what no longer serves you.
Yeah.
Sure. So when you start knowing what you deserve, that's like being mindful about what you want in your life, what you want to absorb, and things which don't work for you, probably you'll have to eliminate them. So it's like being mindful of what you absorb and what you put out is like the first step for prioritizing yourself. Now you have started caring for yourself. Caring for yourself it means you're loving yourself. So that's the first step. You start drawing boundaries. What boundaries that suit you. To other people, that transformation will sound as if you are becoming selfish, unconsiderate, unkind, but you'll be digging a foundation for love inside you. at a later stage, when you are like a garden, at a later stage, it will start growing and other people will start enjoying the flowers, the fruits out of this entire journey. For me, what I think, we must give people space, we must give people time. When we see people taking on this transformational journey of self-love, we must give them time, we must be kind. That's like giving time is being kind to them. And
Yes.
trust me, at a later stage, these people will grow. That self-growth and self-development. It's not a easy goal. We shall start seeing these people transforming and growing into the best version of themselves. Then they will be able to also impact someone outside there, extending these kind gestures at the restaurant, on the roadway, and so much more. But that's the first step to take for someone outside there going on to this journey who is wondering on how they can start on self-love.
Yeah, I like that, that we will love ourselves and inspire other people. And by doing that, we drop these little breadcrumbs to where they can join us on that journey.
Maybe my question will be the question which I've always been having around this entire topic of self-love has been boundaries. Do you think drawing boundaries for things that suit you as a person on your journey of self-love, do you think it's right to draw boundaries, personal boundaries?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh
Some
yeah,
people
because
think
if
it's
we don't,
unhealthy to draw boundaries. They think it's unhealthy.
no, boundaries are what keep you healthy. You
Okay.
know, when you were saying we absorb what we absorb, like we have to have those boundaries so we're not absorbing negativity and letting it impact us. So we're not absorbing other people's perception of us and help and allow them to mold us in the way they want us to be. Like those boundaries are very important. So we keep our own integrity.
Then I will add on that, I'll add my voice on that to anyone I'll say there who is watching this. For me, my thought has always been that boundaries are healthy. It's also some of the things you have to start with as you take this journey of self-love, drawing those health boundaries for yourself. They will help you to grow. They will help you to discover your inner abilities. When you discover those abilities, they will help you to become the best version of yourself. Like healing. It goes back even to those who are seeking healing. When you start drawing boundaries and looking for those tiny, tiny things that mean much to you, and those things that have been hurting you all along, trust me, I will not tell someone that it will be just one day you wake up, you are loving yourself better. It's a journey that you have to take. It's a journey of discovery, discovering yourself, knowing yourself better. A person who is in love with themselves, they know themselves better from the inside to the outside.
Yeah.
And for me, what I think, people who have taken on this journey, they have little remorse. They don't regret easily. Most of the things, you start enjoying everything. Even if it's the valley, you start enjoying it. Even if you're at the top of the mountain, you enjoy it. The journey of life becomes beautiful because you have discovered your abilities, your weaknesses. And even if you are in your weaknesses, trust me, you'll know how to maneuver. That's what I think.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that, Jimmy. So what is one thing that you do to practice self-love?
Trust me, it's not easy. Sometimes I end up when people listen to us speaking about all this, they think maybe we reached there, but we still also have these ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to practice this to the maximum is not easy. I try my level best. I try my level best, like isolating myself. I'm an introvert. Sometimes I take that time. I love things. I love silence. I love taking some time off, being alone. You know, even having a walk alone. It's not really. It's rare to find people going for walks alone. Sometimes they are having company with them.
Right.
But for me, I always have those times, those moments when I decide to take a journey alone. uh, either a walk in the woods,
Oh,
either
yeah.
on the countryside. I usually go to the countryside, visit some chapels. As I move through those countryside roads, I'm trying to reflect on life. I enjoy going out for sunsets. More so, it's reflection, taking some time off alone and try to think about me, you know.
Yes. Yes. I do some
That's
of that too.
mm.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I do. Maybe the other thing, uh, I take myself out sometimes. I take myself out sometimes. It used to hurt me. I would sit looking for company, going to depression because people are rejecting you. You organize with a friend,
Mhm.
this Friday night we want to go out and grab maybe a soda at a restaurant, or maybe go out on an event, and these people at the end of the day, on Friday, they reject, rather they send you a message, they won't be able to go out with you. So being in that room of solitude would hurt me. But later I had to discover I had to discover on how to find happiness by myself. You
Mhm.
know,
That's the key,
I knew
right?
this was not going to end, not depending on other people, but trying to find happiness by myself. So I would go out, meet strangers. I used to think that coffee or soda would taste great when you are having it with your family or maybe with a friend. But I came to realize there were even people who were going through the same thing. They would go to those spots, sit there, you come, you bump into a stranger, you ask them, why are you alone, all alone at this hour? They tell you, I had plans with a friend. They did not make it here. So you end up bonding, spending the Friday with a stranger, but the chemistry, and you enjoy the rest of the day. So I practice that a lot. I always go out to places alone,
Uh-huh.
visit them without expecting company from anybody. If I get company, it's okay. So the greatest lesson is finding happiness within you, trying to create your own happiness without expecting a lot from others, little expectation from other people. That has been the greatest
Yep.
lesson, and it has helped me. Uh, though we are not yet there, but it has been helping as we move through this entire journey of life. That
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah. It is a journey. There's no destination, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if you had to say so.
Yeah. Um, so some of the stuff I do, I like to be alone too. Like you can ask Neil and be like, I need cabin time. I need to like check out of
Mhm.
life and like reevaluate head to toe who I am, what I'm doing, and just settle back into myself. So I love that. I journal, I meditate, I take hot baths. These are all like little things that I do to remind myself that is remind myself who I am and what I'm doing. So, what are some of the things you do, Neil, besides work? Uh-oh, we lost Jimmy again. Dang it.
I don't know. Yeah, work. Yeah, on my golf trip. Um, you know, play stupid games on phone kind of helps me not think about work and just kind of, just do things that allows my brain to kind of reflect some,
Yeah.
you know. Um,
Windshield time when you travel.
yep, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hang out, do things in the yard, hang out with puppies outside, it's like that.
Yeah.
Take a nap. I sleep a lot while I sleep. I think a lot while I sleep. Mhm.
And now we get to spend time with our grandson, and that's a reminder of how we want him to be in this world
Mhm.
too, and share our love with
Yeah.
him and build a foundation of love and resilience within him. So,
Yep, very
yeah,
true.
yeah. Well, what a beautiful conversation. Jimmy, are you
Mhm.
still there?
Well, if muted himself, he might have tried to unmute.
Yeah.
But always enjoy talking to him, hearing what he's got to say.
Jimmy knows, I think he is a genius and he is brilliant, and he
Exactly.
keeps me and Jeffrey and you in a line.
Yep.
And we have
Yep.
lost him again. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish up this this beautiful conversation about self-love, and I hope people can make comments on it and reflect upon self-love and maybe do some journaling or sitting alone or anything that may help them reflect on what self-love means to them.
Yep.
All right. If you want to join us on for our next conversation on Be the Spark Movement, it is the 3rd week of December, and I'm not sure what that date is, but I will definitely be putting it out there if you want to join us and join it in this conversation. All right. Until
Well,
next time,
awesome. See ya.
as always, go love yourself. Mwah.